Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speedy. We're back with another 7.39b video. We're going over 2 heroes for every single role, 10 heroes in total to try in patch 7.39b. I made a video similar to this not that long ago, so there's going to be a little bit of overlap, but I really tried my best to kind of just go off my new opinion. We're now, I think, like almost a week into 7.39. I actually don't know the exact amount of time. And there's also been a B patch. And so my opinions have changed, what I think is strong has changed, and these are 10 heroes that I think are very meta, not necessarily the best in their role, because like the reality is if I made that, I would just have to say Wraith King, because he just still is 55% win rate. That's really boring, so no, I'm not just saying the technical best across all brackets, I'm trying to give, my opinions, especially based on what I've seen. So, all right, let's get into it. On top of that, go sign up to the Gamely website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Okay, so for the safe lane, the first hero is Lena. If you guys have been following Dreamly, you've definitely seen the rise of Lena. Now, I do think Lena is best picked in certain scenarios, so really hear me out on this one. You want to pick this hero when you're going to have a good lane. I really believe this hero, if it falls behind, kind of struggles to hit her like ultimate timing. I think this hero's main timing truly is like 3.5 items where you have Mjolnir, bots, BKB, or Maelstrom, Pike, bots. You know what I mean? Something along the lines where you have like a defensive item, because there are glass cannon Lena players where they go like dataless and stuff, but in general, you kind of need to hit this defensive item timing so you don't just explode. This hero is very low armor and a low HP pool, so it's just very hard to play the game until you have BKB or Pike. But the games in which you want to pick it are the games where you have the meta supports. Now, the best supports, in my opinion, with Lena in the laning stage are still just going to be the melee frontliners. There are some ranged heroes that are totally fine. For instance, something like Bane, that is very aggressive in the early levels and is essentially a pseudo melee hero, is a very good option with Lena. The meta 5s, in my opinion, are going to be something like Undying, Naga Siren, even something like Tinker. I mean, that probably won't come up, but heroes that are going to be very aggressive in the early levels, frontline for you, and allow you to get off to a good start are crucial. Now, in terms of the items that you want to buy on this hero, you want to be playing around an early Maelstrom, so you buy a Falcon Blade. Your starting items are Wand 3 Branches into Falcon Blade. Then you buy boots. You do not upgrade the boots. You just buy a Maelstrom. The first component you should buy is either the Gloves of Haste or the Javelin. If you have like a lot of mana when you're deciding between the items, you should buy the Javelin because you can keep your E stacks up. If you're low mana, you should just buy the Gloves of Haste, so you just generally have attack speed. Then you complete Maelstrom. After Maelstrom, I would generally recommend going bots. You actually can rush something like Mjolnir and just kind of use it to farm a little bit faster, but it's not that effective because using it on yourself isn't that great. And so generally go Maelstrom into bots. Bots is going to allow you to show up to fights, but more importantly, just soak up the map. This hero farms at a ridiculous pace. After that, there's a lot of different variants that people go. Some people will buy straight Mjolnir, and I don't think it's bad, but I do think that Mjolnir has this issue where you don't even want to fight. On top of that, the attack speed is a little redundant with your E. It's not that I think Mjolnir's bad. It's a lot of damage and the active is still always good, but in general, I personally believe that going Maelstrom into a Pike or Maelstrom just straight into BKB is better because you have bots and you're going to be able to show up to fights, so have an item that really allows you to fight, and I just don't think Mjolnir generally is that. After you buy your defensive item, then I would go back for the Mjolnir, even though I actually think it's not necessary in all games. Then completing often the other defensive item kind of depends. It depends how threatened you are. If the enemy has a lot of jump, tiny and axe, yeah, you need both defensive items, the Pike and the BKB. If they don't, there's no blade mail jumper that really counters Lena like Axe or Legion. You can pick up a Daedalus and really try to just kill everyone. And by the way, the last thing I'd like to say is this hero just has very good talent. She has a 25 damage talent at level 10, and at level 15 she gets magic resist with E stacks, making her a much better scaling carry. So yeah, the hero is pretty technical. It's not going to be super high win rate. It's not something you can pick up and just dumpster your games immediately with. This is no Wraith King. It's actually quite hard. It also has some resource management skills required to max the hero. Okay, the second hero is a hero that I think is even underrated in the pro scene, and that is Clinkx. Clinkx is a hero that I just think does a lot of good stuff. Number one, this hero's laning stage is very solid. It has good poke. Its E Death Pact is one of the most brain dead abilities in the game. It just gives you 1 billion health. And at level 3, you can eat certain large creeps. Yeah, you heard that right. At level 3, you have the creep eat ability, or creep max level eat of 5. So not every large camp can you eat level 5 creeps. So level 5 creeps include Hellbears, Centaurs, and the Wild Wing, the big Wild Wing. You cannot eat Trolls or the big Satyr creep, so, pray you get lucky. But if you get lucky, you just get to eat like a free 60 gold at level 3. It's really, really good. And so, yeah, I'm a big fan of Clinkx. I think for the laning stage, very stable. After that, kind of similar to Lena, the build that I think is best. A lot more stats, but it's going to be something like a wand into usually boots. You don't want to skip boots on this hero. It's like boots, raindrops, falcon blade, shreds into a maelstrom or a deso. I think deso is better for pushing buildings, like a lot better for pushing buildings and taking objectives. So if you want to play like some super high tempo, you can do that. But like maelstrom is quite a bit better for farming. So you just have to determine like what more so you're doing. If you're picking off and playing for buildings, Deso is a bit better, but like for the overall scaling of the hero and farming, I would say Maelstrom is what I'd lean towards. From there, kind of similar to Lena, these heroes actually have a lot of overlap. You generally want to buy some sort of defensive item. There are players who will go full glass cannon, but I just, again, don't like it. This hero innately does so much damage with strafe, right, which gives you a billion attack speed, that I just don't think you need more than Maelstrom to do damage. The reality is Maelstrom and Strafe just have an unbelievable amount of synergy. It's just the highest damage item in the game, arguably, for, you know, non-strength heroes. But yeah, Maelstrom, Strafe is enough, so you can just buy like a pike and be able to position in fights. Or you can just go BKB. The other item that is also really popular because it has synergy with your skeletons and your ulti is Dragonlance, which obviously, you know, builds into pike. So typically it's Maelstrom Dragonlance, so you can show up to early fights. That is my favorite build by far as well. Some people will even go Dragonlance before the Maelstrom if they really want to play tempo, which I don't mind, because the reality of Clinkx is that you're fast and invisible and have a very early spike in your ability to fight. Your abilities are just good early on. I would definitely suggest looking into this hero. Then after the pike, I think the shard is really good for farming. Again, kind of similar to Lena. If you need both BKB and pike, that's totally fine. After that, you generally go into something like Daedalus. After Daedalus, you can go for Satanic or Scotty, depending on what you need for the game. Okay, let's get into mid heroes. So first of all, we have DP. So Death Prophet, I believe, is one of the best tempo mids of the patch. This hero's been buffed a lot over the last few patches. Primarily buffed, well, her Q got buffed recently, but largely buffs to Spirit Collector. So I recommend taking Spirit Collector. And what Spirit Collector is when heroes die around the map, including allies, you get charges of your ulti. So every single kill or death is a spirit, and that spirit does about double the damage of your normal ulti spirits, which is insane. If it's a very active early game, which in average pubs is most of the time, you will just have these broken ults, and you can create unbelievable tempo. I mean, for instance, you're gonna have, let's say you play mid DP. Okay, one of the best plays you can make is try to get the minute 6 power rune. If you get it, you should definitely do what I'm about to say. If you don't, you still can. Go to the enemy wisdom rune with a ulti that is charged up by Spirit Collector, which it frequently will be, more often than not, even 3-4 stacks is enough, and just pop it with 3 points E and an ult, and see if the enemy can fight. Usually the answer is no. And so yeah, I love the tempo of this hero. In terms of items, there's a lot of different avenues. I think going Treads, Wand, Witchblade is good. I think Phase Boots, Wand, Raindrops is good. You obviously need Bottle. Or I think Atos is excellent. The more tempo item is Atos. It just kind of allows you to get on top of people with your ult and your E. The more scaling build is Witchblade, which is nice because it gives you armor, a bit of int. It's kind of similar to Atos, where it gives you a bit of catch, so it lets you stay on people, which is why these are the two items you should buy. They just give you the control that this hero desperately needs. But yeah, Witchblade is like higher damage, but worse for catching, worse for tempo. And so after Atos, let's say you go Atos, I think Blink is very good. Or you can just kind of go straight into something like Ags or BKB and just like, you know, adapt to the game, adapt to what you need. With Witchblade, the second item I generally recommend is either Blink or Ags. You can also just, again, buy a BKB. This is just one of those heroes that needs to run in, right? You need BKB in a lot of games. The Aghanim Scepter, if you don't know what it does, basically whenever you attack someone with DP or you hit them with a spell, it shoots a spirit, one of your Exo Spirits at them. And so it's very high damage, but more importantly, it slows, right? Exo Spirit's slow with the Axe, and so it kind of gives you, again, the catch that DP naturally lacks, right? It's why, yeah, you want Witchblade or Atos into Ags, into BKB. After that, I would at some point fit a Blink into this hero. It just makes so much sense with this hero's kit. Then a Shiva's to, you know, get you up some armor. And again, like Blink Shiva's just a nasty Dota combo. And you also, instead of something like Shiva's, can buy Kaya Sanj. This hero definitely has mana problems. And so fitting in something like Kaya Sanj at some point into a build, earlier or later, can be a great option to allow you to farm more. Next one, this one is the craziest one of the video, and that is Brood. So Brood mid. What do I like about Brood mid? Number one, I think Brood lanes best mid. The hero's big flaw in the side lanes is that it's really bad at level 1 because you basically don't have a spell. Webs is basically not a spell. It's not useless, but kind of useless. And so mid, you don't have that problem as much. Most heroes in the early levels cannot pressure you out alone. That's just not a thing, besides stuff like maybe SF, you know what I mean, or some Huskar. But other than that, you're going to be fine. And this hero loves levels. It wants level 6, because it speeds up its farming faster than most heroes. It can take the tower. It can roam with that level 6 timing, right? It wants level 7, so you have max webs, and you can roam with the webs. It wants high levels in its E. Obviously, high levels in its Q. It's a very, very level-dependent carry, right? And so yes, this is a carry for mid. DP is more of a tempo. Brood is more of a carry. You're trying to, like, carry the game. You can tempo a bit as Brood. You can really play the map and go for kills. But in general, you're going to be farming a lot, pressuring mid-tower, contesting runes, stuff like that. And really the big timing is level 15 timing, which is plus 12 damage to her E, which is insane, guys. It's usually 8. This makes it 20. Imagine Witch Doctor had a talent at level 15 that made Maledict do 120% more damage. Now, that would be completely broken because Maledict is an AoE spell that does 1 billion damage, almost guaranteed. But you get the point. That is kind of what happens. Like, that is the scaling. That is the level of buff. And so it makes your spiders do 40,000 damage. Now, the build I personally recommend is going something pretty normal. You can even buy a bottle. I really actually think it's pretty legit on Brood mid. But most people don't. They usually go Bracer, Wraithband, or, you know, just one of them into Soul Ring or Boots Soul Ring. After that, like Raindrops, Treads, and then I actually think that generally Drums is the best item. It just allows you to move around the map faster and kill people faster with your spiders. The movement speed is actually really, really nice. Then after that, something like an Orchid into BKB is a very, very good option. So you can play fast, get kills, get pickoffs, and really you're not looking to team fight until you have BKB. Just get pickoffs and play for your level 15 timing. Okay, next up for offlane, we have Undying. You guys might have seen DM play it if you've been following Dreamling. I think this hero is really cool because you can play in 2 different ways. The first way you can play is you can play a frontline style where you're buying Crimson Guard and Lotus Orb and Pipe and Blade Mail. And you're gonna run in, click your Decay and your ult, and pray you reflect enough damage. The other variant, which is something I played against recently, is an Echo Saber. So like a Harpoon Blade Mail, where you're still frontlining because at the end of the day, you're gonna do that as Undying. But the guy I played against had a Blink Dagger, a Harpoon. I don't think he had a Blade Mail. I think Blade Mail just makes sense on the hero. The hero actually has armor problems and, you know, you're a frontliner, so Blade Mail. But yeah, he had a Blink and a Harpoon. And you just, once you get on top of people, if they don't have the right items or spells to deal with you, they're dead. Rotting Mids is just a bajillion slow. Like, you cannot move once you get hit by Flesh Golem and a zombie. So yeah, I mean, the hero just has a very stable laning stage for starters. Just a very, very stable laning stage. Just spam Decay. What I saw DM do is he bought 1-3 branches into an immediate Soul Ring. He didn't get the Soul Ring that fast, and you know, it's a little weird to buy Soul Ring. You definitely need to have like a tango or 2 to make sure it's not killing you. But yeah, Decay thankfully heals, which is what kind of makes up for it on Undying. And then his skill build was 404, right? Maxing out the Tombstone. I actually think 440 is not bad, maxing the Soul Rip. It's just like a lot of mana, and that's why people tend to stray away from it. On top of that, if you have Rotting Mitts, it kind of makes sense to just like spawn a bunch of zombies even with Tombstone. So it's kind of nice. I would recommend either going like a Blade Mail, Harpoon, Blink build with then eventually BKB, or you can go just like full auras and completely frontline. But yeah, this hero is super solid. It actually farms really fast. When you max out Decay and you have your 10 Decay talent, you 2-shot creep waves, you like 3-shot neutral camps. It's like just a nice core hero, honestly. I believe it's great. Then we have Axe, which I talked about in kind of like the last video, so I'm not going to spend nearly as much time on it. But what I like about Axe is his ability to kind of kill anyone. And this has been the case ever since he got the shard change. Now, that was a long time ago, but I'd like to cover it for everyone who has forgot. Axe's shard makes it where your call applies battle hunger, right? And this is huge because of the fact that when you are killing, let's say, a support, or maybe even something like an offlaner that isn't going to kill themselves to Blade Mail, it's really nice to then just kill them with Battle Hunger. Battle Hunger is a really, really high damage spell, and it allows you to also apply multiple Battle Hungers. That's the shard I'm talking about. So when you call them, it applies a Battle Hunger, then you click your W on them, Battle Hunger, and they're just ticking. And so when you call a hero, like, let's say you're calling an AA, okay? If you're not calling that guy on the creep wave, you're probably not going to kill him from full, assuming he has, like, reasonable items, like a fluffy hat and a wand and maybe a blood grenade, you know, and maybe the health enchantment if he's itemizing to, like, not die to axe. You know, he might if he just has, like, 800 health. But if he has a bit of tank, the double battle hunger allows you to call heroes like that and still kill them. Where axe previously, let's say you call the Darkseer. You know, if that guy has a Vanguard, you're not going to kill him. And to be fair, you're not killing him with 2 battle hungers, but you're going to at least get him much, much lower. It's just very high DPS. So I love that part about Axe. The hero is a very stable laner. They've been buffing its W. It has 3% more slow this patch. I think the hero just naturally farms very fast. I personally like Vanguard Axe the most. I think you just AFK farm your area and just get huge, just get 1 billion levels. And yeah, then play your eventual timing. It's very, very powerful. Pause 4. Let's first of all talk about CK. This one's really fun because basically you take Cloven Chaos, which is the facet that allows you to stun multiple people, which is awesome. I mean, they also buff the stun. It does 410 damage if it rolls high. CK is a weird hero in that regard. But if it rolls high, 410 on 2 heroes. Pretty crazy, and it's a really long stun, again, if you roll high. Even if you roll low, it's, like, not bad. But yeah, I mean, the hero is very good base stats, so naturally it trades very, very well. So yeah, it's super good in that regard. Super solid trader, again, kind of good with something like Lena. Then, in terms of the scaling, it's really nice. It's one of those subs that just naturally scales. After all, it's a core hero. So what I recommend doing is having like Wand, and then you want to have raindrops, a clarity in your backpack. This hero will have a lot of mana problems. After that, just kind of treads. If you want to play tempo, drums. If you want to try to 1v9, armlet. And yeah, this hero can sustain armlet, even as a sub. You can take 1 point in your E when you're coming up to the armlet timing. Generally go 4-4-0 for the skill build. Your W is armor reduction, which is, again, another reason why it's a good support. It has innate armor reduction. It has a stun. It has very high movement speed, so it's great at contesting runes, getting to the rune. Ganking, it's just one of the better gankers in the game. Just undoubtedly, just has a pull, armor reduction, and a strong stun with high movement speed. You know, and then its ulti, you might be like, what do you do with the ulti? It gives you illusions. How's that good? You can scout, but more so, you just kill people. The reality is if you have treads on this hero, you just do a lot of damage. Like, you can kill subs. And so, yeah, big fan of CK4. Think it's just super nice. A lot of synergy with a lot of top offlaners as well. Stuff like Darkseer, Vengeful Spirit can be really, really nice. Then we have Shaman. I think either variation, either facet of Shaman is very, very good. Mass and Serpent Ward's got a massive buff this patch where it does 20% more damage, which is a crazy number. In terms of the win rates, across all brackets, Massive Serpent Wards actually has a 0.5% higher win rate, so not a lot. And this is not surprising to me. Pros are taking both, but actually I've seen pros more so leaning towards Chicken Fingers, and the main reason for that is I would actually say the laning stage. Now, Chicken Fingers is always useful, even when you're ganking someone. You can hex them, then hit them to hex them again, and then shackle them, and it's an extra second of disable, which is just good. But the laning stage is also just way better. It just kind of lets you like hit, kite, which is nice for a hero that has kind of bad base stats. I mean, it has good armor and good damage, but has bad movement speed and bad range, which makes it hard to actually use that damage and armor. But Massive Serpent Wards is really fun. Personally, I think it's the more fun of the 2 facets. If you're looking to have a good time, this Massive Serpent Ward is a goofy little guy. You put him down at a tower and like even cores can't fight it, you know? It's so funny. I've played it multiple times. You put it down, and it's just like, if they don't have the right heroes to kill it, it's just going to take the tower. It also one-shots creeps, because it does 600 damage level 1, which is a pretty funny number. So, like, if you put it down in a creep wave, you'll steal all your core CS, and then they get really tilted, which is just a nice little benefit. You know, obviously the main reason we play Dota at the end of the day is to queue up into a rank game and get yelled at by our teammates. It's just really pleasant. So yeah, not too much to say. I think this hero, it got nerfed last in the B patch, but I just think Massive Serpent Wards is like worth trying if you haven't. It's pretty damn fun. Okay, finally, let's get into the pause 5 heroes. The first one is Witty Witch Doctor. The hero got a new facet called Malpractice, which I am a big fan of. Funny enough, in terms of win rates, it has a slightly lower win rate than Cleft Death, which is where it makes your ult split. But I think Cleft Death is just like kind of a meme. The only nice thing about Cleft Death is it incentivizes you to max your Q, which they made a lot better. So, yeah, I think the problem with Malpractice is that it kind of incentivizes you to max the E, which is not bad. Witch Doctor Malefice is like a nasty spell. The problem is the cast range sucks. Really, that's the issue. where stun does not have that problem. It's not the best cast range, but it's not bad. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the thing, but I think even with Malpractice, you can max your Q first and then just max the E later. If you don't know what Malpractice is, it's really cool. So basically, enemies dying with your E shoot the damage to everyone else around you. So let's say the last tick of Maledict was going to do 400 damage. A percentage of that, I think it's like 70%, will just shoot out into everyone nearby. I played a game with it. Some guy picked it, pause 5 on my team. And someone died near 2 of his teammates, and then that explosion killed the guy next to him, and that explosion killed the guy next to him, because they were both maledicted. It was like some insane, obviously that's not going to happen all the time, but like, it was some insane damage. We actually were like very far behind, and then we just killed them. Because this maledict spell, if people group up, let me tell you, they do in pubs, just does 40,000 damage. So yeah, pretty fun, pretty cool. This hero's cask is also better now, so yeah, solid hero. Okay, and final hero of the patch is a little difficult, but it's Naga Siren. They basically made her E do a lot more damage. She also has some good pairs in the meta, for instance, like SF carry, Lena carry, Clinkx. Can all be, Drow is pretty solid. Can all be very, very good with this hero in the laning stage, or just have good synergy in the game. I also think this hero also has a lot of meta pairings, at least in high MMR, maybe not in low MMR, stuff like Kunkka, Enigma, SF, just like kind of the cheesy ults with Naga are very real. Like, song into these cheesy ults are nasty. Even something like Disruptor is very, very good. But yeah, why do I like Naga? I think Naga just does a lot. It just does a lot. Now, you gotta be able to micro the illusions, and that's the thing. If you want to play Naga as a sub, you have to learn how to spread out the illusions. And basically, you have to have the hotkey for select next unit, and then just send them around. It's really important to do this because it's how you push in multiple waves, and more importantly, it's how you scout. This is the best scouting, or one of the best scouting heroes in the game. Low cooldown 3 illusions that give 1,000 vision. It's insane. Some crazy, crazy radius of vision. And so yeah, it's just a nasty hero. The laning stage is pretty solid. Something interesting I learned recently, which I totally forgot that they did, is for every illusion that that Naga has next to herself, gives 8% evasion. So when you click your Q, which I actually generally take at level 1, I just have 24% evasion, and so do my illusions. And you're 330 movement speed with like decent stats. So you just trade very well, especially into ranged heroes that don't stout shield block your illusions. Then at level 2, you take Deluge, you just trade very, very effectively. At level 3, you can take Deluge again because it doesn't increase in mana and doubles in, or almost doubles in damage. At level 4, you can take your W. At level 3, you can also take your W, and if you're with a kill hero, you just pull the enemy into you. And then as the game progresses, you max your E. At level 7, you have max E. You nearly 2-shot waves with your E. When you have level 10, which is 30% Deluge damage, you do 2-shot waves with your E. And then in terms of the hero scaling to the game, always max your illusion after Deluge, and just push in waves. In team fights, just send your illusions, hopefully not directly on top of each other, out into the fight, onto people, slowing their movement speed. Even if they're stampeded or surged or haste, it still slows, which is pretty damn funny. And then, yeah, if you time your ulti well, it's one of the best spells in the game. It also is 20 seconds cooldown lower than it was last patch due to a buff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace!